We have been taught so deeply to not want for more, to be grateful for what we have, to have a look at other people and know that you are so lucky. And in a way, yes, okay, that is correct. But I really want to get stuck into this in this episode. I really want to call you out. And if I asked you right now what more actually means to you, could you name it? Most women I work with can't. And they think that's the problem. And it isn't. But this is actually the whole episode. And I want you to tune in. I want you to trust me. And I want you to have this idea of what if I could actually experience more? And let's just see where this goes. Welcome to the Pursuit of Myself, the podcast. Here we take ownership of our healing. We rewrite the rules, we turn knowledge into wisdom, and we lead our lives with intention. I'm your host, Rayne, and it's my mission to empower you to get back into the driver's seat of your life. Welcome back to another episode of The Pursuit of Myself. I am Rayne. I'm coming off a pretty sensational week. We had our first She Evolves live in-person event on Friday. It was a full day. I had 20 women in the room, so absolutely sold out. And what I witnessed was beyond anything I could have wanted for all of them. I mean, I get women in a room from 9 till 2. You know, there's a 45-minute lunch break. And you have like wants and wishes and expectations for everyone. But you know you have this finite time, and then you just watch the breakthroughs. You watch women come to life. You watch them shed the tears that they've been holding onto for so long. You watch the creativity spark. You watch the business idea spark. You know, and it's like, my Lord, I could not have wished, hoped, planned for anything more for that day. And if you're listening to this and you came to the day, like, wow, I hope that you are still riding that beautiful wave. And if you are interested in this work and my words are actually creating something in you that's like, holy shit, that could be my missing piece. This is what I actually want to do, embody, work on. Then you know where to find me. You know how to book a call. You know how to ask a question. You actually have to step into this yourself, because there's one thing that I know to be true. I didn't force one woman to be there. And I can guarantee you what not one woman regretted coming. It's like they say, you know, when you go to the gym, you never regret when you force yourself to go to the gym. You never regret a gym session. My dad used to say to me, you never regret a run. So just do it. And this is like the personal development. This is the energetic work. This is the deep dive. You never, ever regret it. You just have to literally force yourself to step in. So just celebrating that day so hard. There will be more to come. So make sure you're subscribed. You're on my mailing list. You're on Instagram. We've got a really exciting announcement that I can't announce yet because it's very, very limited and it's going to be big. Anyway, I hate it when people do that, and I just did it. But so yes, stay tuned for that. Before we get into today's episode though, I am running a free masterclass. I am running a free masterclass next week on Wednesday, the 3rd of June. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering that because my son's on the 2nd of June. My son's birthday on the 2nd of June at 5:30 p.m. And this masterclass is called Permission to Want More. It is the theme of today's episode as well, but on this masterclass, I'm going to have you for 90 minutes. We're going to be interactive. We're going to work this out together. You're going to get to ask questions. And I know that what I'm about to say in this episode is going to land in your body differently. And this masterclass, this live masterclass, is where you get to take it deeper. So many of the women in my group coaching program, the reason they're there is they want proximity. They want to do, you know, high hot seat coaching. They want to come with questions. They want to have transformations, they want to have breakthroughs. They want advice on where they're going. And this is how you do it. I'm doing this masterclass for free and you get to come and be in the room with me. So I'll put the registration link below, but let's freaking go. Okay, now for the episode. So one of the most common things I hear in my DMs on discovery calls is women saying, I don't know what I want, but I know I just want more. And it's super interesting because we are so conditioned to not want for more. We are actually conditioned to be satisfied, whereas men are conditioned to be ambitious. right? We are conditioned in our feminine to be satisfied. Now, a recent moment at this event that I did on Friday was around wanting more. And one of the women, the simple question of what do you want? And then you can see the panic set in, I don't know. And then I would ask, what does it feel like to actually want to experience something more? Like if you were to desire something. And the answer is, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't know. I'm scared to want more. And the reason why we find it so hard to articulate what more actually means is not because we are greedy or ungrateful or confused. It's because we've spent decades performing a life that was given to you to want. And the way we look at it is we are born, we grow, we're told to have this, we're told to be happy that, we're told to strive for that. And when you get there, it's like, okay, I've done all those things and I've got those things now. Maybe it's the marriage, maybe it's the career, maybe it's the kids, whatever that looks like for you in your life. Maybe you've got that and you're like, wow, why am I not actually like over the moon happy here? Or you are, look, you've got everything you want. So just be grateful. Don't want for more, don't want for change, don't want for growth. Your actual own desire was never built. You are building the desire that you were told you should have to make you happy. So a lot of us, as we're growing, in our teens and in our 20s, we can kind of name what we want, and we do it like in a cocky way. It's like, yeah, I go to uni and I push through and I create this and we can, do it. We have that drive. But as we are growing in those phases of life, we are actually quite disconnected from who we are. Because as we're growing, we're learning what's safe out there. Being who I am isn't safe. I've got these wounds. I've got these traumas. I've got these parents. I've got these friends. I've got this community. This is what I should be doing because this is how they love and accept me. So we do more of it. We perform. And life starts eating our language. We perform. And life actually eats up your own desires. If you don't know what you want, then actually wanting something outside of what you experience can feel really scary. But I do know in this work that so many souls start to wake up and they realize I've been performing and living a life that maybe isn't the one that I desired. I'm happy, I'm grateful, but is this it? Like, is everything that I'm experiencing now it? And so we shut down that want for more because it feels so unsafe. It feels selfish. And after time, you realize perhaps the life I built just isn't the life that I actually deeply desired. Now, the trick is here, and I've said this on many, many podcast episodes, this isn't the opportunity to go, I hate my husband, I hate my wife, I can't, I need to change my career, I need to do all this sort of stuff, right? This is not like the blow up your life moment. But the one thing that I really do want you to understand is that when it comes to wanting more, that is the place that your nervous system goes. Your nervous system will put you in that place of wanting more is so dangerous because you don't want to blow up your life. Because remembering, your nervous system wants to experience only that which it's experienced before. So if you haven't actually chased your own desires or spoken up about what you want, or, quit that job to start your soul-led business, or have really tough conversations with your husband knowing that it might actually turn out in not a way that you desire, or push yourself out of that comfort zone, then your nervous system is going to give you all the evidence over and over again to keep you exactly where you are. Because, as I said, the nervous system wants you to experience only that which you've experienced before. So you can think suddenly you have desires, suddenly you have wants, suddenly you have needs. We're fine. That's too scary. And we naturally catastrophize. Your mind will go into the catastrophe situation rather than just what the next step could look like. We are such incredible, like machines, these human beings. When you really understand A plus B equals C, and you really understand how the body's showing up and working in these situations, you do get to hold yourself with a lot of compassion. But this is why I speak a lot on this podcast about understanding the way that human behavior works and understanding the way we show up so that you can then hold yourself with compassion and change and choose again. Otherwise, we sit in this wheel of I'm broken, I'm trapped, I'm numb, I'm stuck, I'm blocked. You say all the words, these are all the spiritual words that we hear. We stay in this sort of like this merry-go-round of all these words that we don't actually take the action to want the thing that is going to bring more joy into our lives. Now, sometimes this actually means that nothing's even gone wrong. Everything in your life has gone quote unquote right? Everything that you've built could be beautiful. right? And we still get to want more. But that's the whole crisis. As we build as teens and 20s and even 30s, you're building for someone and an identity that you were. And then we move into our 40s and 50s, and we have become also other people. And the whole facet around knowing that you want more, understanding and giving yourself permission to grow, and then bringing that new identity on and into the world around you. This is the part that we sort of become stagnant and stuck, because you get pushback from friends, you get pushback from parents, you get pushback from your children. You know, I know plenty of people that get pushback as the children are growing and trying to get them to be more responsible, and you're trying to let go of all the cooking and let go of all the cleaning. Like, you get pushback because you're evolving into a new identity, into a new phase. And the thing that will run into your head is you've changed. You've changed. And we punish ourselves because we've changed means we are upsetting other people. We are not living up to other people's expectations of who we are. But change is actually a really positive thing. And the way I need to explain it to you is this. We are put in this life to grow and evolve and change. We actually are. Like, there is not one thing in this world of this nature that does not grow and evolve and move and change. Seed, the roots, the plant, the trunk, the leaves, the fruit. We grow. We are here. The seasons. We are here to grow and evolve and change. But there's something in our nervous system that doesn't actually enjoy that. So when we are wanting more, when we're wanting to move, it feels really uncomfortable. It feels like, oh God, like can't do that because that's going to maybe hurt someone. You're going to catastrophize here. That's going to upset someone. They're going to abandon me. I'm going to get rejected. Maybe I'll get less money. Maybe I'm going to waste some time. There's all these thoughts and feelings that go on simply because we are deciding that it's time for change. Now, it was really interesting, even for me, going back as I was writing this episode, because a lot of my old shit starts to come up when I write these episodes and connect with you. There are times, and multiple times in my life, where I realized that I wanted more. And I want you to really hear this, because if you're in a marriage especially, this can get really tricky. But what I want to say is this. As I was moving through the days in my marriage, I would abandon my more in fear of not being supported. I would abandon my desires because I was putting someone else's desires first and on a pedestal. So I didn't allow myself to want my own more. Now, the reason I'm saying this is not to go, so then I left and, I was able to experience my desires but what if I had have been brave enough to request and go after my more within the constraints or the confines or within my marriage? What if I was actually brave enough to say, hey, these are my desires. Can I have some support over here? This is something I'm building. I need to do it this way. Hey, can you look at maybe supporting me in my career that I really would like to build? I didn't do any of that because I had put myself to the bottom of the ladder and everything else first. And the reason why I say this is because I know so many I work with have been in this pattern, and the nervous system again would say, no, they will leave. You're selfish. That's not fair. It's his time, or whatever your relationship is. But the reason I bring this up is we actually have a lot more choice and power over this than we realize. But it's the ego that's telling you it's not safe to want because of X, Y, and Z. So what if I did give the marriage an opportunity to grow in a way that I felt loved and supported because I was following my desires at the same time? Would anything have changed? I don't know. Would the outcome be different? I don't know. But I do know that I didn't try. I do know that I didn't put myself and my needs high enough on the ladder that I would articulate that which I really wanted to experience. And that's something that I sit with quite a lot. And I can now reflect and walk my clients through this because I know that if we don't actually address it on the surface level, if we allow it to fester underneath, right, we're not actually giving ourselves a chance for having more, having it all, having the experiences we desire, and not catastrophizing our lives at the same time. And that's a really, really important thing to know. Again, the reason I'm telling you this example is because I want you to be able to be expanded in the possibilities so that when you are suppressing yourself, denying your desires, you actually can go, oh, I remember Rayne talking about that. And I wonder if that might expand me into finding the courage to have that conversation or to go after my desires. We, as the brain, will look for all the evidence that you can't. So by listening to these stories, I'm trying to put into your brain little bits and pieces of evidence that says that you can. This is possible. So here's the question for you. How long have you been wanting more without knowing how to express it or ask for it? How long have you actually been suppressing the desires in the name of responsibility? Like how long? And just reflect on that in a moment, because that's really, really important. Is the first step is to give yourself permission to go there. Like that is the very first step. The first step's always the hardest. Or maybe the action's the hardest, but the first step is still really hard. But I want you to think about this. What do you actually desire more of? Maybe it is that you want more money. Maybe it is that you want to start working again. Maybe it is that you want to switch careers. Maybe it is that that you used to make money and now you've had children and you don't feel that sense of fulfillment there anymore. Maybe you do actually desire more success. You've hit your goals before, you've built a business before, and then something knocked you off your nest and we're sitting in our comfort zone. Maybe you want to experience more rest, right? But rest, you've decided you cannot have. You've got too many children, you've got too many responsibilities. That is just not what's going on for you at the moment, and you're supporting your husband. That is not happening, right? What if you want to actually experience more impact in your life, but you're scared of being visible? Because what if being visible actually opens you up to judgment? And what if being visible opens you up to people saying, well, shouldn't you be at home with the kids? Or, God, I can't believe you're actually saying that. What about all these things that you actually want more of? And then your mind comes in and makes all the reasons and excuses that you can't because of X, Y, and Z. And if more was something that you really desired and you were actually taking action, you'd already be stepping into that next thing. But instead of knowing that we aren't, instead of being in the fear of failure, we shut down that intuition of going, oh, I do want more. So no, we shut it down. Because once we ask that question, what we want more of, what then happens is you go into, but what if I don't actually do that? What if I fail again? What if I do blow up my marriage? And all these things come in. So what I do want to explain is what more actually is, because more is not an expansion. Expansion is what got you here. More is actually like an evolution. More is experiencing a bigger life. The woman that you became is the one who chooses differently, and the life actually follows her, not the other way around. So you don't actually need a bigger life to experience more. First, you need to stop performing the one that you've got. That is actually getting in touch with your intuition and going, am I happy? Am I in joy? What do I want more of? Do I want more happiness and joy? Do I want more intimacy and connection? More is not a destination. It's a different woman walking down that same hallway. So we don't actually get more and we get happy when we get there. We get to experience what more of creating the life that we're desiring feels like on the journey. Because I know that she wants different things. The woman who wants more, she makes different choices now. And when we do step into that more, when we even just write it down on a piece of paper, I want desire to experience more of, life will start to rearrange around you. This is Energetics 101. I actually have my diary sitting next to me and I write my desire list every day. I write it out. I desire some extra this skincare that I've been looking at. I desire a 40K cash month. I desire to pay off all my bills. I desire to purchase a home. I desire a new pair of jeans. Like when you start to actually tap into your desires, and there's plenty more on here. I'm not going to sit here and bore you on this podcast episode. When you tap in your desires and your want for more, your life will start to rearrange around you. But we have to first give ourselves permission to go, what does that actually look and feel like for me? Now, this is where it comes in, because there's a version of you that's been running the show for a really, really long time, and this was me, right? She's the one who got you here, that version, right? She's also the one who's keeping you stuck, right? She's the one that's stopping you, and this could be your good girl This could be your perfectionist. This could be your people pleaser. But it's that version of you that is keeping you stuck. Now, if you come to the masterclass on Wednesday, I'm going to have time to go really deep into these dynamics and why we allow these versions of us to keep running the show. So come to the live event. But I also want you to understand the cost of almost getting there, the cost of almost wanting more. Because this is the cost that I really know, even in my marriage. What did it cost me then? Well, it cost me not wanting more and not wanting to deepen my connection more and not wanting to do that work out of fear of being abandoned. It actually cost me connection. It cost me the ability to explore whether more intimacy and connection in my marriage could have sustained us through that period of lifetime, right? And the cost of staying in a life that is almost right is that you spend the whole time waiting, because almost right is like part of your soul dying. Almost is the most expensive place that you can live, because it costs you part of who you are, your authenticity, your alignment, your soul. And you don't notice that cost until you actually stop. When we are waiting, when we are not growing, we are neutral, right? We are just existing. We are in our comfort zone. And waiting is a choice that you are making every single day. Growth does not happen in comfort zones. It is the age-old saying, but it is so true, right? We cannot get to the edge of our comfort zone and keep pulling back and expecting to experience a different level of life. So if you're sitting back waiting, I want to give you permission to ask yourself this, because you're not waiting for the right time or the right plan or the right teacher. You are waiting for permission from life. And the only person who can give that to you, the only person that can give that to you is you. I've said it on multiple occasions, and I say this to my clients all the time. You know, we want more confidence, but confidence isn't going to come and smack you over the head and say, there you go. You know, we want high self-worth, but worth isn't going to come and smack you over the head and say, there you go. You know, we want to be fearless. We want to be brave. It's not just going to come and smack you and there you go. It's not like this thing that just happened. Not if you're sitting back and waiting in your comfort zone. You really have to give yourself permission to first go, what do I really desire? And then we find the courage in that moment to take one action step in that direction, because clarity loves action. It does not love it when you're sitting there stagnant, waiting for the next thing to come. So give yourself permission right now. Get that list. What do you desire? What do you want to experience more of? It doesn't have to be material things. It could be intimacy, happiness, love, joy, whatever that is. What do you really desire more of? Notice when your mind comes in and tells you, you don't deserve that, or you should be happy, or look at the person down the road experiencing that. Like, look at where your mind is going to start blocking you the moment you start expanding your consciousness. And tell it to shush from me. So Rayne says, shh, enough, shut the fuck up. Lean in, have a look at what you desire. Ask your soul for evidence. You can walk around your everyday life and go, what do I desire more of? Ask for evidence. You can just do that every single day. Oh, I desire a beautiful couch. Oh, I desire a nice, lovely piece of artwork. Look in your life. Or you might notice a couple holding hands down at the beach and like, oh, I desire a relationship. Give yourself permission to want what you to have the desires you deserve to have, so we can start building the roadmap for you and your unique, beautiful blueprint to actually get there. And let me know how you go. If anything landed in this episode, I know that I want to give you a deep felt sense of recognition, because that recognition is exactly what we move through in this masterclass on Wednesday, the 3rd of June at 5:30 p.m. It's free. It's 90 minutes. Get in that room, come live. I promise you, I guarantee you, being there live is like telling the universe, I am there. I'm showing up for myself. I want change. This is important to me. You know, there is back and forths about, make these masterclass cost something, because, when you have skin in the game, that you're more likely to show up. But I really want to encourage you and call you forward. You don't have to have money to have skin in the game. You just have to make the choice. Come. By the end of it, you'll have a language for what you couldn't name an hour ago, and you'll know exactly what you desire. The link is in the show notes. I'd love to have you there. We can do some hot seat coaching, some connections, some everything. Come. And until then, pay attention this week. Notice every time you desire something, every time you see something that's going to like sparks. Oh, I want some of that. I want more of that. Allow it to pass through you. Write it down. Don't cover it up. Don't try and fix it, but just notice it, because noticing it is where it all starts. I'll see you next week.